Well, we're going to get the details in the business statement from the Leader of the House, Andrea Leadsom, but the indications are that Theresa May plans to bring back her Brexit withdrawal agreement bill to the Commons next month. But at the moment, it looks as if it's going to be defeated. So what's going to happen to the whole legislative process to do with Brexit? Joining me now is Jack Simpson Caird, who's a former constitutional law specialist in the House of Commons Library, where he's led the library's work on the EU withdrawal bill. Welcome to you indeed. OK, let's follow the Prime Minister's plan, you know, because we do have this EU deadline of October. If she brings the bill back in the first week of June, as we're getting indications she is, what does that mean? I mean, how long can she get the whole business through just physically in time to leave before the end of October?
I think the plan's to get the bill through the Commons before the summer recess, but that's very ambitious. I think the first thing to say is that we haven't actually seen the bill yet. So this is different from the meaningful vote. We haven't actually seen the domestic legislation to implement the withdrawal agreement. And the first thing we're all waiting for is to actually see it published, because many of us suspect that people who don't like the withdrawal agreement will like the withdrawal agreement bill even less. And then we also want to see what the government's going to do in terms of any concessions it's going to offer to Labour. And then we also might have some indication of the timetable by when they publish it. Now,
publishing the bill is important, as I understand it, because that's what, you know, there are conventions about. What does it mean?
So the convention is normally that you want to allow at least 2 weekends in ideal situations between the publication and the second reading, so everyone's got a chance to read it and work out what it's about. We're expecting this to be quite a complex constitutional bill with issues of parliamentary sovereignty, the role of the courts, bring up all sorts of things that Eurosceptics and Remainers will be interested in getting their teeth into. So I think it's going to be important that the government actually gives people time to.
So that would mean if they are going to bring it back on the 5th of June, we'd need to see it next week, the bill.
I think that's the expectation. But then obviously there's the issue of the European elections and whether or not they want to publish it early, because one suspects that the bill's been ready for some time, and I think the government will come under quite a lot of criticism for the fact that the bill's been probably ready and they've been waiting to publish it because they know that there'll be quite a negative reaction from some quarters.
Now, where does this leave the Supreme Court ruling that for Britain to leave the European Union there has to be a meaningful vote in support of it? You say this isn't a meaningful vote.
Well, in a way it's more important than meaningful vote, because this is the bill that actually we need to have this bill passed in order to leave with a deal. That's absolutely set out. That's actually set in legislation. But you can just pass this bill without a separate meaningful vote, because we're expecting that this...
And we'd leave.
Well, yeah, exactly. If this bill's passed and it contains provisions saying you don't need a separate meaningful vote, then this is all you need in order to have the withdrawal agreement ratified.
But a bill of this complexity, how long would it take to get it through Parliament?
Well, interesting, the government did a good job in getting the last withdrawal legislation through Parliament. That took around 11 months. But they did a good job precisely because they took their time. That was a sort of proper procedure. They had the whole summer between publication and second reading. The Lords had a good go at it for a few months. I think a constitutional bill of this type, one would expect it to take at least 6 months to go through the parliamentary process. And obviously the government is trying to do that in a much more truncated
Because that takes us beyond the deadline for leaving. Thank you very much indeed. Well, we will get those details from the Leader of the House shortly, but that's all from All Out Politics for today.